Team Affinity feels more important than ever before to go through and fully complete because now we have the Team Affinity collection here with some really good cards, and especially once you get to the end, the 99 overall Jose Ramirez, which everyone's a fan of, and then the 99 Corbin Carroll as well. Both of these cards are amazing. Not going to want to miss them, and you definitely want to get these as soon as possible. So that's why in this video, I just want to quickly run through the fastest way to complete Season 3 of Team Affinity, to get all of those cards, and then to complete this collection as well. And if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Diamond Dynasty videos. When it comes to Season 3 of Team Affinity, it really feels pretty similar actually to Season 2, although, the reward path is the same, but there are a few extra missions and whatnot to help us move along through the program quicker at least, but pretty much everything is going to be similar and pretty much the same. But that leads us into the first thing we should be working on when we start off grinding these programs. And what I suggest are the exchanges. If you guys have stubs especially, or if you have a lot of these cards already, then go ahead and complete some of these. You don't have to do all these exchanges, right? Right here, I have this 6,000 Team Affinity point 1 done, and I might do one more, like the 3,000 possibly, we'll see, but I just did that one. You guys can do one or two, or you can do all of them. It's really up to you, but if you have stubs, if you have cards, I would recommend doing these, especially if you do them right away. But I think in total, if you do all of these, let's say, you get about 25,000 Team Affinity points. So that's a really good start. But then after that, I would do the moments. There's going to be 7,500 Team Affinity points from moments in each division. After the moments, I always do the showdown then, which will get you 20 Team Affinity points right here. And that 20 will just help unlock more, probably a couple more cards throughout the Team Affinity reward path, which will just allow me to then start building some lineups with these Team Affinity players. Which is why then it always makes sense to start working on the Team Affinity conquest maps. And remember, with these maps, there actually isn't a map with all 6 divisions. There are only the 3 maps, one for East, West, and Central. So if you do, let's just say, the East one, you're going to get this progress for both the AL and NL East. So that's something important to keep in mind. But then while you're working through these maps, be sure to use just a lineup full of players you earn from the Team Affinity reward path, and also take a look at the missions that you'll be working on. So just so you know exactly what you need to do with some of these players. Because some of these missions might be PXP missions, whereas like these captain ones are certain statistical things you have to do, right? Like total innings pitched or whatever it might be. So just so you guys need to know exactly pretty much what you need to be doing for these players before you jump into games. Just because with the grind as long as Team Affinity, you want to make sure you're doing everything the most efficient way possible, and checking on this before you start grinding is just, a good way to do that. Also, the boss missions for Team Affinity 3 actually look a lot better than previous Team Affinities because we still have the repeatable mission for 1,000 PXP, but now each boss has its own PXP mission, with each of these getting 3,500 extra Team Affinity points. So that's like 14,000 extra Team Affinity points for completing it with 4 players, because keep in mind, we do get that last boss once we actually fully complete the program. So we were really only counting 4 of those. So 14,000 extra is super nice from that, just making everything a little bit easier right there. And when it comes to like which missions you should be focusing on, do the classic and captain ones as you unlock those players. But as you start to unlock the bosses, start to do lineups with those bosses, because those have repeatable missions. Or the other thing you could do is pretty much stack your entire lineup with like 1 to 2, with players from 1 to 2 different teams from divisions you want to work on, and then work through those team build missions, as those are repeatable as well. But at this point, when you have some exchanges done, you have the moments and showdown done, the conquest maps, and some of the missions done too, you'll be around halfway done with each Team Affinity program. And what you want to do now is pretty much focus on grinding these missions, right? And there's a couple different ways of doing this. Both pretty quick ways of grinding mission XP. And what you want to be doing is essentially filling out your lineup and pitching rotation with Team Affinity players that you're earning. And then one way to be grinding is through play versus CPU. And what you want to be doing is choosing the home team and then also picking a custom stadium like I am right here with blank canvas. This is what I always play on. Since it has max elevation, super short walls, it's just super easy to hit a lot of home runs, and it obviously just makes the PXP grind a breeze. And what you can do too is just quit out after a few innings if you want. You don't need to play all 9 innings. The PXP will still count after quitting, partway through a game. And then the other way to be gaining Team Affinity mission progress quickly is by playing the new Team Affinity 3 mini season. And the good thing about doing this mini season is not only will you be earning, from the Team Affinity reward path, by completing these missions, but you will be getting the Team Affinity vouchers from progressing through the season. And you also will be getting some packs and XP for finishing some of the goals too. So mini seasons probably does seem a little bit more rewarding than play versus CPU, but either one will help you progress through missions very quickly. And when you grind mini seasons, I would suggest only playing the home games. And when you play these home games, make sure you have a custom stadium downloaded, like I showed you in the play versus CPU, because you want that max elevation short walls to be hitting tons of home runs. And you likely won't have to play any away games as long as you win all the home games. But just to be safe, I would play a couple road games too, because you want to make sure that you get into the playoffs. And you want to make the playoffs so you can get these extra vouchers from, getting to the playoffs, advancing through the playoffs. And you also, like I said before, getting vouchers for every 5 Team Affinity wins too, which is super clutch. Also, keep in mind that these goals for Team Affinity vouchers are actually repeatable, so you can do this just for 1 season, or if you want to complete 5 different seasons, win the championship all 5 seasons, you'll get all the vouchers for all of those seasons. And this is pretty much what you do until you max out the Team Affinity programs. Again, focusing on the missions by stacking your team either with a bunch of the Team Affinity bosses or doing team builds for 1 to 2 teams at a time and completing those team build repeatable missions. Because ultimately, progressing through this quickly will also help you move towards the Set 3 collection reward sooner and the Team Affinity collection reward sooner as well, because you're not going to want to miss this Jose Ramirez and this Carroll right here. I mean, both of these guys are just stacked out amazing cards, so not going to want to miss those guys. And being able to grind Team Affinity while also getting all of these ridiculous rewards from all of these collections is just why I think that Team Affinity should probably be your top priority, not only right now, but even, going forward for the next month or two, next month, as we go through this season. Really make it one of your top priorities because you're going to get so many good cards along the way that you're not going to want to miss. But that's what I'll be doing for Team Affinity 3. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, found this helpful. Appreciate you guys for sticking around to the end. See you guys next time. Peace.